Everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody here to share another layout. This is a 12 by 12 layout. I'm actually using a solid piece of cardstock in the back. I don't typically do this, but because I'm using these ribbons and they're kind of some brightly colored ribbon, I wanted to just make the background pretty simple. Um, I love how this layout turned out. I used up a couple of my ribbon spools in my stash, and I just love how this layout turned out. So I'm going to put this yellow ribbon across the bottom kind of as a grounding ribbon, and then the other ones I'm going to kind of vary throughout, and I'm just kind of showing the process here. I haven't quite figured out exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm looking at it to see what works for me. I am going to include these photos at the top. The story behind these photos. Okay, so I love Halloween, and we always, of course, get pumpkins to kind of carve or decorate. And this year I thought it'd be nice to have these little tiny pumpkins. And so I asked Kaylin if he wanted to paint them because they're too little to carve. And he said sure. And so instead of actually painting a face on them, he decided he wanted to paint the whole pumpkin. So he painted it blue and yellow and green, and he just had fun. So I was, not exactly what I had in mind when I asked if you wanted to paint, but it worked, and he had so much fun. So I just captured a little bit of the moment. We are in his bedroom on his little plastic card table thing that's in there that he keeps his cars lined up on. And we had just moved them all aside so we could use it to paint on. So that's what we're doing. And he does have shorts on. You just can't tell in this picture. He just doesn't have a shirt on. It was just to not have to worry about getting paint on his shirt. We took that off. So, plus my child likes to be naked most of the time anyway. So, I don't know what it is. He just, as soon as we get home, he likes to strip down to his underwear, which, okay, whatever. I guess it really doesn't matter. Um, so I'm still playing with the ribbons here, and I liked this dark gray ribbon. It's kind of polka dot, and I just like the way it looks. It kind of ties in the gray background to the rest of the layout, and it's going to give me a place to kind of ground my photos instead of having them float a bit. So I'm just adding a small cluster of these ribbons up here at the top just to tie it all in together, and I'm overlapping those. I'm kind of rifling through all the scraps I have, and I'm going to pull out a few more to work with, a few other things to work with, rather. I have a couple pieces, a couple stickers, like this chevron, black and white chevron is a sticker, and then I have this scrap piece of paper that's a lime green kind of crosshatch looking pattern, so I'm going to use that, and I'm kind of varying them. Some of them come up from the left, and some of them come into the page from the right. There's no real rhyme or reason. I'm just kind of doing what looks good to my eye. I really like I said, this layout. I love how simple and basic it is, but it actually has a lot going on. I'm also going to add a bit of stamping here in a moment as well. It just was a very freeing layout. I didn't have, too much in mind when I started, and I really tried to take the mindset of if you hate it, change it or throw it away. It doesn't really matter. So it gives me a little bit more of a freedom to work with a couple things that I wouldn't normally try because I just don't know how they'll look. So I took the pink one out. It just wasn't fitting with the color scheme. I really liked the way it looked, but the yellows, greens, teals, and grays look a lot better together. So I took the pink out. I've got this real kind of skinny silver washi tape that I'm going to use. And one of those, that teal ribbon has a kind of an arrow print on it. So I'm cutting the ends to go along with that same pattern. I am going to tie a bit of the pink here. It's just going to be a small bit though. It's not going to be very much, just enough. I just wanted to use up this ribbon though since I already put adhesive on it and I already cut it. So I use up most of it. I just add a little bit to the top and a little bit to the bottom. Now I'm going to fold over all my ends and tape them to the back. And as you can see, I label in my album where they're going to go. That's going to be my October 2013 album and the 12th page. I always have a lot of pages in my Octobers, my Julys, and is it December or November? I can't remember. There's another month where I end up having a lot of photos and a lot of layouts. Just we have busier months in those months. October, we have the state fair, we have our anniversary. We end up doing a lot in the fall, things that we don't do in the summer, just because finally the weather has cooled down, so we do a lot more different things. We also do a lot in July because July is my birthday, and we always end up doing something, going on vacation in July. So we do that in July, so there's always a lot of photos from that. Plus the 4th of July, we go to 2 different 4th of July festivals usually. And then, of course, in November, we do, of course, Thanksgiving, but there's also the Christmas parade that's actually in November. And and then Kaylin's birthday is December 2nd, so it's pretty close to November. So those are kind of our big groups of photos. There's other months where I only have 2 layouts in addition to our Project Life pages. So having, a few months with a lot more is not that big of a deal. It kind of balances out in the end. I am matting these photos on some vellum. I didn't want to bring in another color, and I didn't want to bring in a pattern paper because I felt like it would be too heavy. So I'm using this vellum, and it will also kind of tone down that dark gray ribbon, and also give me a little bit more of a place to add a little bit more embellishment. So I had already pulled off some stickers off of one of the Echo Park sheets, and I'm just adding them here. They're gray, teal, blue, and a little bit of pink. Now, that one sticker at the bottom says, "This is awesome," and I added a heart on top of that. I also had this, what do you call it? Sorry, my mind went blank. I have this pink label that I'm going to add to the right there. It says, "Live good, be happy." And I really like that. And that's another reason why I tied in a little bit of that pink ribbon, because I knew I had a few pink embellishments that I wanted to add. I have this pink label that I put under the left side of the photos, kind of to back that one arrow that says inspire. I think it says inspire me. And it has an arrow below it. It points to the pictures. So I put that there. And then I have a couple stamp sets that I've pulled out. This was where I was starting to think about my September kit and what I was going to put in it. And I decided in September I was going to put stamps as my tool of choice for for September, to try to make sure I use. So in the process of me thinking about this, it made me really start to want to stamp some more. So I pulled out a couple different stamp sets, and I'm going to add a couple stamps on here. I've got an arrow with a heart in the middle right here that I'm going to be stamping. I tried to stamp it on that vellum, and I really had to let it dry pretty good. And then I tried to stamp it again on this sticker, and I'm stamping it off. So I'm using my Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm stamping it off so it's more of a gray ink whenever it actually gets adhered to or stamped on the page. And when I turn that over, I just make sure that stamp didn't rub up against my mat, because it would have definitely smeared it. Now, the heart one on that sticker is never really going to dry, so I'm going to end up fixing that in a moment. I add a small stamp here at the top, and then I've got this speech bubble that says smile, and then another one on the left that says today. And then I have this pink sticker at the bottom that says noted, and it has hashtag happy day that I just stamped right above it. And then I have these yellow puffy stickers that I'm going to scatter about around the page, and it's going to bring out that yellow color of some of the strips. And then it's also going to use this up out of my stash. I've had these for quite a while, and I wanted to make sure that I used them on a page that we're going to make an impact, and that was going to make an impact. And with the yellow in the paint on the pictures, plus the yellow ribbon and like the lime green strip of paper, it all kind of ties together. So this is where I'm going to add a bit of my journaling. And I'm just explaining that he's painting pumpkins. And so it says, "Today you," I believe is what that sticker says. And then I should put, painted pumpkins. And so I've only stamped on this page 4 times, but I really like the effect of it. And I'm going to add another one here that says, I have this stamp that says "For My Little Pumpkin." And I'm going to put that right here on this pink label. I actually like this stamp so much that I purchased it twice, not even meaning to. I didn't realize that I had already purchased it. So when Archivers was open, I had purchased it again. It was like $1 or something. So I had it in my stash and I didn't even realize it. So when I went back the next time to purchase some more things, I purchased it again. So I have 2 of these. But I love it. And I call Kaylin my little pumpkin. So it's fitting. Now, since this stamp is never going to dry, I moved my little heart sticker on top of it, and then I ended up coloring in the arrow, the front of the arrow, and I guess the tail end of the arrow with a Sharpie pen. So it's just right over the stamped part, but it makes it permanent. And I'm going to go ahead and add my title. Oh, and that little label that had "For My Little Pumpkin," I just tucked it up under that green strip of paper. I'm trying to decide which stickers I'm going to use. That blue is not quite the right blue. I didn't have the right shades in that alpha. And so I'm going to pull out a couple different ones. I'm flipping through a lot here. I like these yellow ones. I found though that those larger alphas that I was just looking at, the yellow and the head of in green, they don't really stick very well. So I'm going to have to keep that in mind when I use them in the future. Now I had this gray alpha, which was really nice. And I'm trying to figure out, I have to make sure I have the right number of, or the right letters, which is kind of difficult when you start to get to the end of the end of an alpha. So I actually thought I was out of P's, and so I was going to use, I guess, a D and flip it over, but I actually did have 2 P's, so I ended up using those instead. So it's going to say my, and then it says pumpkin, and I'm going to put little in these yellow stickers. These daily flash stickers, and I've used this alpha set a lot. I think I'm going to start keeping track on the back of my alpha stickers to see how many times I use them, just for informational purposes. I am cutting I guess the ascender, not a descender, the ascender of the B's off to make my L's because I was out of L's, and I had a couple B's left. So it's going to say My Little Pumpkin. And I love how this layout turned out. But anyways, if you like it, please give me a thumbs up and also subscribe so you'll see the next videos I have to post. But this pretty much finishes it up. I'll have still photos for you here at the end. And keep an eye out. I have many more videos to come, and I've actually already started creating my September kit, so I'll have that soon too. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Bye.